You are Albert Einstein. The year is 1955. You are 76 years old, and in less than 48 hours, you will be dead. Not because of war, not because of an accident, but because an artery deep inside your body is slowly tearing itself apart. The doctors already know what's happening. An abdominal aortic aneurysm, a weakened section of the largest blood vessel in your body. If it ruptures completely, death is inevitable. The surgeons offer one final operation, one final chance. Most people don't hesitate. You do, because you've already made your decision. I want to go when I want. No surgery, no heroic intervention, no desperate attempt to buy a few more months. The doctors are stunned. The newspapers would be stunned. The world would be stunned, but they don't understand something. For decades, you've lived with a far more uncomfortable reality. The realization that you may die before solving the problem that consumed the second half of your life. And that problem is sitting on your desk right now, an unfinished equation, a puzzle the universe refuses to surrender. And somewhere in the next 48 hours, you will realize you're running out of time. Hour 42, the greatest failure nobody talks about. History remembers your victories: special relativity, general relativity, the Nobel Prize, E equals mc squared. The world calls you the greatest physicist who ever lived. But there is a secret hidden beneath all that success. For the last 30 years, you've been losing. Not publicly, not dramatically, quietly, relentlessly. Every morning you sit down at your desk. Every night you leave without the answer. You call it the unified field theory, a single mathematical framework capable of explaining every force in existence: gravity, electromagnetism, everything. One equation to explain reality itself. It sounds impossible, because it probably is, yet you've devoted decades to chasing it. Entire notebooks filled with symbols, calculations, corrections, failures. Thousands of pages, 30 years, nothing works. And now the clock is moving faster than ever, because for the first time, the equation might outlive its creator. Hour 36, the letter, a heavy weight on history. But the unfinished equation isn't the only ghost in the room. There is another, older, heavier. Its name is Hiroshima. 16 years earlier, in 1939, you signed a letter, a warning sent to President Franklin Roosevelt. German scientists had discovered nuclear fission. You feared Nazi Germany would build an atomic bomb first. The warning worked, perhaps too well. The Manhattan Project followed. Then came August 1945. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, entire cities erased. The public never forgives the connection. Neither do you. You didn't build the bomb, you didn't work on the project, yet history links your name to it forever. The equation survived. The people beneath the mushroom cloud did not. And now, in your final days, one question keeps returning. What responsibility does a scientist bear for what others do with his discoveries? The universe never gave you an answer. Hour 30, the war you lost. There is another battle you spent decades fighting, and unlike relativity, you lost this one. Its name is quantum mechanics. The younger physicists adore it. Experiments confirm it repeatedly. Predictions match reality perfectly. Yet something feels wrong, deeply wrong. The universe cannot simply be random. Can it? You argue with Niels Bohr again and again and again. Every debate ends the same way. The evidence supports quantum theory, not your objections. The world remembers the quote, "God does not play dice." But the universe appears to disagree, and perhaps that is the cruelest lesson of all. Even the greatest scientist in history can be wrong. Not once, not twice, for decades. As the pain in your body worsens, another realization emerges. The universe was never obligated to make sense to you. Hour 24, the hospital. The final countdown begins now. The pain becomes impossible to ignore. You are taken to Princeton Hospital. Doctors move quickly, nurses whisper, visitors arrive. Everyone understands the situation. Nobody says it aloud. You bring papers with you. Not family photographs, not awards, not medals, physics papers. The nurses find pages covered in equations, corrections scribbled in the margins, ideas still unfinished. Most people facing death spend their final day looking backward. You keep looking forward. That is what makes you Einstein. Even now you are still working, still calculating, still searching. And that creates a strange paradox. The doctors are trying to save your body. You are trying to save an idea. Only one of them still has a chance. Hour 18, the secret nobody expected. The search continues. Visitors expect wisdom, final reflections, profound advice. Instead, they find something surprising: curiosity. You are still curious, still asking questions, still wondering about the structure of reality, still chasing patterns hidden inside nature. Most people imagine genius as certainty. It isn't. Genius is sustained uncertainty, the willingness to live with unanswered questions longer than everyone else. For 50 years, people treated you like a symbol, a living monument, a scientific oracle. But inside your own mind, you never stop feeling like the patent clerk from Bern, still staring at mysteries, still trying to understand why the universe behaves the way it does, still confused, still fascinated. And perhaps that is why the equation remains unfinished. The deeper you look into reality, the stranger it becomes. Hour 12, the realization, facing the inevitable truth. Night arrives, the hospital grows quieter, your condition worsens. The doctors know it, the nurses know it, you know it. The aneurysm is winning, and finally, the realization arrives. The equation will survive. You won't. 30 years of work, thousands of pages, decades of obsession. None of it will be completed. Someone else will continue the search, or perhaps no one will. Either way, the answer will not arrive in time. For a brief moment, the situation feels almost absurd. Albert Einstein, the man who changed humanity's understanding of space, time, gravity, and light, unable to finish the one question he cared about most. History will celebrate your successes, but history rarely remembers unfinished dreams. Hour 6, the final calculation, the final push of genius. The bleeding worsens, breathing becomes harder, your strength fades, yet beside your bed remain the papers, equations, symbols, ideas. Even now, your mind keeps returning to the same mystery. Not fame, not politics, not awards, the equation, the search, the puzzle, the universe. The tragedy isn't that you're dying. Everyone dies. The tragedy is that reality still contains secrets, and you won't be here to see them revealed. For a scientist, there is no greater frustration, no greater temptation, no greater unfinished business. Hour 0, the last question, silence and the great mystery. April 18th, 1955, shortly after midnight. The rupture becomes catastrophic. Your body begins shutting down. A nurse hears you speaking, German, your native language. Unfortunately, she doesn't understand German. Your final words disappear forever. No recording, no witness, no dramatic farewell. The greatest physicist of the 20th century leaves behind no final message. Perhaps that's appropriate, because your life was never about answers, it was about questions. When your heart stops beating, the universe continues. Stars continue burning, galaxies continue drifting apart, time continues moving forward, and somewhere on a desk sits an unfinished equation. The final problem Einstein never solved. The answer dies with you, at least for now, because that equation represents something larger than physics. It represents the truth every scientist eventually discovers. The universe is bigger than any one mind. No matter how brilliant, no matter how famous, no matter how revolutionary, even Albert Einstein reached the edge of what he could understand. And beyond that edge, the mystery remained. 48 hours earlier, the doctors offered you more time. You refused. Not because you had solved the universe, but because you understood something most people never do. The goal was never to finish the search. The goal was to keep searching until the very end. And that is exactly what you did. A life defined by the search.